There is something very sneaky going on in the brains of ambitious people, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that if you are one of them, watching this video could save you 4 years. Okay, so you know that one friend who for the last 4 years has been writing a book or releasing an album or changing careers or starting a YouTube channel? Hey, I am that one friend. Back in 2020, I was like, oh man, I should start a YouTube channel. So I bought a course, I watched the course, I brainstormed ideas, I researched cameras, I read up on editing, I wrote to-do lists, blocked out my calendar, hunted for inspiration. And repeat for 4 years. But you know the one thing that I didn't do? Post a YouTube video. Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was experiencing something that a lot of people go their entire lives without realizing that they're experiencing. And it stops them from becoming who they're genuinely, authentically meant to be. If I had been able to spot it back then and realize why it was happening and hit it with the of what I know now, I could have had a following
3 times bigger than this.
And save myself 4 years. So if there is any part of you that resonates with this and you don't know why yet, just keep watching because this is the video that would have changed my... So I saw this clip the other day of Whitney Cummins on Chris Williamson's podcast, and she said this.
Perfectionism leads to procrastination, which leads to paralysis.
Hard agree, but I think there's something so vital that was missed in this conversation. When we think of someone who is paralyzed, we think of someone who's like sitting, staring at a wall, unable to move at all, take any action towards their goals. But the reality is that paralysis is a lot sneakier than that. Paralysis can be disguised as productivity. Fun, right? The busiest, most productive person in your life could be the most paralyzed. And they don't know it, you don't know it, but it's true. What these people don't realize, and what I didn't realize, is that they are stuck at the base camp of Cringe Mountain. Okay, so this is Cringe Mountain, right? And you have to climb Cringe Mountain to get to the land of cool. When you're embarking on a change or starting something new, you're just gonna have to suck at it for a while. You're gonna have to write a not very good book, or stack it at the skate park for a year, or be bad at a job for 2 months. To get really good at it, you are gonna have to withstand a certain amount of being cringe at it. And this applies to everyone. Everyone who is now good at something has had to climb Cringe Mountain. Every celebrity, every one of your favorite creators. You can't go under it, you can't go through it, you just have to go over it. When you take that first step up Cringe Mountain, that's when you're actually climbing. But before Cringe Mountain begins, there's something called base camp. At base camp, there are all these nice little tents that you can take a nap in, and they feel so good. Because when you're in the base camp tents, you don't have to confront the grueling incline that is Cringe Mountain. But it still looks like you're making progress. It even feels like you're making progress. Because you're obviously gonna start climbing any moment now. You're at base camp. You're just preparing. You're preparing for the journey ahead. Very essential preparing. With researching and finding the right equipment and to-do lists and telling people that you're about to start climbing. I like that one, and then they go, wow, nice, that's really cool. You'd be really good at climbing. And you go, thanks. But you don't have to actually do the climbing. Organizing your calendar, downloading the best software, getting inspiration and making it good enough. It's gotta be good enough, right? Watching another how-to video like this one. But look, here's the thing, and I say this with love and mostly directed at myself. You can get stuck camping out at base camp for the rest of your life, always feeling like you're starting and never actually starting. Because the only thing that's starting a YouTube channel is starting a YouTube channel. And the only thing that's writing a book is writing a book. Cringe Mountain Base Camp is not just for beginners. Anyone at any stage of life and expertise and ability and fame can get stuck at Cringe Mountain Base Camp. Nobody is safe from it. Maybe you're a top creator with over 1 million followers and you climbed the Cringe Mountain of building a following, but now you want to pivot out of a niche that you've fallen out of love with? Well, now there's a whole new mountain to climb. And it's shitty, right? Because we all want to leave base camp, but then why don't we? By the way, if you're liking this so far, hit subscribe. My mission with this channel is to help as many people as possible find their thing and stand out and become a category of one, so come along for the ride if you like. But being your authentic self is scary as hell. It is so scary, man. Wow. This feeling of cringe, this fear of being seen as cringe, actually serves an evolutionary function. So as humans, we're hardwired for social connection, to belong in a group and not to go against the pack. It's what has gotten us this far in our little existence as a species, and it's what our brain believes is still absolutely necessary for our survival. Being different or doing something out of accordance with the group puts you at risk of being socially outcast, which means that you're more vulnerable to danger, according to this guy.
Hi, I'm your brain.
So cringe is actually a function of our brain trying to keep us safe. No, it's actually kind of cute when you think of it like that. Thanks, little guy, for trying.
No prob.
But you're ruining my life, actually. Okay, so now we know why we're like this, but how do we stop it from happening? So you don't waste 4 years like I did. Well, the good news is that you've already done the hardest part, which is identifying that it actually exists. But now we gotta lace up your hiking boots because it's time to pack up camp. So first identify the thing that you want to do and what the first step of actually doing that thing is. For example, writing a book, the first step of writing a book is writing the first page. Starting a YouTube channel, for me, the first step was uploading one video. Or moving to Japan, the first step would be booking flights. You can tell it's the first step because it's the one that feels a little bit scary or cringe. Okay, now fill in this sentence. Before I insert what your first step is, I must. Okay, now get a pen and paper out and follow along. List all the things that you feel you have to do before taking that first step. Let's use my YouTube channel for an example. So for me, it was researching and finding the best ideas. So with these tents, there's usually an underlying reason why we feel like we have to do these things, and it's usually rooted in some insecurity. So then you ask yourself, why? Why do I feel like I have to do this before I do my first step? When I broke this down for myself, I realized that I was worried that if I didn't research, then people would think I was stupid or I didn't know what I was talking about. So it came from insecurity for me. I realized that I believed that if I didn't get the best idea, I would flop, and that would mean that I was bad. I, as a person, was bad. See, the thing about the why behind the tents is that usually when you say them out loud or write them, you realize that they're actually kind of ridiculous, but they don't feel that way in your head, and that's why writing them out and getting them on paper is so important. Okay, so the next question is, if I had a gun to my head, would I be able to do the first step without this thing today? For me, yes and yes. And lastly, set yourself a deadline and make it realistic. And by realistic, I mean, don't let yourself bullshit yourself. So for me, I realized I didn't need to research, I didn't need the best idea, I literally just needed to film the video and then post the video and then figure it all out along the way. It would have saved me 4 years if I had seen this video of myself 4 years ago. So work through this exercise, and I really hope that it can save you 4 years. If you got anything out of this video, hit subscribe. My mission with this channel is to help as many people as possible find their thing and stand out and become a category of one. So yeah, hit subscribe if you vibed. Bye.